Chancellor, good morning, and good morning once again to everybody. Ambassador, Secretary General, it's wonderful to be here at the Munich Security Conference and to be speaking with all of you. My name is Hadley Gamble. I am Arabiya's Chief International Anchor and Correspondent. Chancellor, it's great to see you again. In your speech, you mentioned several things, one of which was the murder of Alexei Navalny. And in October 2021, when I asked Vladimir Putin directly about Mr. Navalny, and I challenged him as to why he kept putting all of his political rivals into prison, he seemed at that time pretty content to let Mr. Navalny stay there. In your mind, was this tragedy of his death a show of weakness on the part of President Putin, or is this just another example of what he feels as impunity?
First, I'm really depressed having heard about the death of Navalny. Though we don't have every proof now, it seems to be the case that that's really happened. And I remember my talk to Navalny when he was here in Berlin for recovering from the first attempt to kill him. And I spoke with his wife and his little son at this time. And I was really impressed by the courage he has going back, knowing that this will be a very difficult time for him and also a situation that might cause his death because of the way of dictatorship Putin developed. Is it a sign of weakness? Is it something that is just alongside to what he always did or did quite often during his reign? I would say both. This is the truth.
You mentioned spending. And when we talk about financing defense and financing wars, it costs a lot of money. And right now, Germany, as of last year, was the worst performing among major economies. You've just slashed your growth forecast. You're sitting at 0.2% for 2024. How is it possible to project strength in the face of Vladimir Putin when you are essentially once again the sick man of Europe?
We are not. This is why it is easier to say this. And looking at the strength of German economy, I think we can assure everyone that we will be able to do our task. Just to give you this view on economic developments on Germany, we have the highest number of employed people ever in history of Germany, a very, very low unemployment rate. We have a question of getting enough people for workforce and not the other way around, which we had 20, 30 years ago, as many other European countries, but this is completely not our problem for the next 20, 30 years. We have a lot of investments in Germany. Is it electric vehicles with the United States company investing especially in Germany here, Tesla, and nearly 100 years in Germany, Ford.
But nevertheless, 0.2% is anemic.
Batteries, this is battery investments, this is semiconductor that will be invested in Germany. And if I get it right, the new semiconductor production sites in Europe, 80–90% of this will happen in Germany, and this is something which gives a sign of the strength of the economy. Yes, Germany is the one economy that is most exposed to exports. We are related to the figure of number of people living in the country, 84 million, the strongest export nation globally. We are connected to nearly every country to the world. And yes, if there is something that is difficult in growth in the world, we feel it because of being linked to all the rest. But this will also change again when things are changing. And just 2 days ago, I was together with one of the managers of Microsoft that announced to invest $3 billion in Germany in the next year, and they are not the only one. So don't be afraid about this. We will have the chance to do what is necessary for defense, which brings us together here.
Chancellor, you say don't worry about the economy, we've got a hold on it. What about the possibility that Donald Trump will once again be in the White House? What do you do with that? Because just a few days ago, he essentially said those who don't make their spending commitments to NATO, which as of yet, Germany does not, he's fine with it if President Putin invades you. I mean, what is the plan to deal with Donald Trump?
So first, it is the American people that are taking a decision on the next president. And I think it is wise just to wait for their vote. It might be completely different, as sometimes people think when there's too much in this way of understanding politics. It's something that is not about serious things, but something that is a very nice theater. So I think we have to understand that there will be a decision, and at the time we can understand also that the United States and Germany, the United States and Europe are having a relation that is in the best shape it had for many years. And this is there is a good reason for this, because of democracy, the rule of law, about our view on humankind, which we are sharing. And having this in mind, I think it is important for all of us on both sides of the Atlantic that we stick to this very successful cooperation. And if you look at Europe, you will see that Europe is doing what it is announced. 18 countries, I guess, now announced that they will this year have this 2%. The rest of them is on the path to do so, which will really change the whole scenario, because if you count together the spending in Europe, you will find that this is much more than Russia, for instance, is able to spend. And though they are using all the money they earn from gas, oil, coal, gold, uranium, silver, and so on, we have to understand that they will not be able to meet the figures we are able to spend for defense just because of the success of our economies.
So you're not worried about the economy, you're not worried about the potential for Donald Trump to be back in the White House. You just signed a historic agreement with President Zelensky, but Taurus missiles are not a part of it. Can you tell us why your government is refusing to give Taurus missiles to
I think
Ukrainians?
One question is a bit strange. Germany is, as you said, and as everyone knows now, the country that is spending the most for defense in Europe to support Ukraine. It's more than 7 billion this year, and we will continue to spend a lot.
But
and
if the goal is to win,
there are all the things in it which are necessary for defending Ukraine and for giving Ukraine the chance to defend their own country. And I think it is absolutely important that we take the right decisions on the scenario we now hear. And this is, we have to increase the production of munition, of weapons. We have to make feasible that all the maintenance could be done with the weapons that are at the war and which are used. And we are doing all these things and all this kind of things which are necessary for a real strong Ukraine being able to defend their own country. And step by step, we are always deciding what is the right thing to do at the right moment. And this is what we did so far. And we agreed with the Ukrainian government to continue with this big support we are already organizing.
So you're not ruling out the possibility that at some point your government could okay Taurus missiles?
I think we are ruling out the truth that we will do enough and we will be strong in supporting Ukraine.
Politician. Sir, I have to open up for questions in just a moment. But I think that I would be remiss if I didn't mention the other conflict that so many of us are deeply concerned about, and that is, of course, what's happening today in Gaza. Germany is a country that understands the gravity of war crimes. And when we look at what's happening on the ground in Gaza, whether it's human rights groups telling us that every day these are war crimes being committed, or if it's Oxfam saying that more people are dying every single day in Gaza than in any other conflict in the 21st century, how is it that a government like Germany can answer those who say this is just simply hypocrisy on the part of the West to okay and defend Ukraine in terms of the invasion of Vladimir Putin, the illegal invasion, but at the same time to continue to allow the atrocities that are being committed in Gaza? How do you answer those challenges? How do you answer that challenge of hypocrisy?
First, we should not forget what this war is about. started with a very brutal aggression against Israeli people by Hamas. And what they did at 7th October was really something that was as brutal as you may not imagine. It was against humanity, and what all the pictures, all the films we saw about that situation are really something that is not the outcome of an attack just. It was really against the people, and it was against all the things that are important for us when we discuss about common values. So Israel has the right to defend their own country. And this is what the United States and what Germany and many others are just stating, that Israel has this right and can count on us. And while saying this and really supporting Israel in its doing, we are also very clear on the things that are important to be said. So first, that humanitarian aid has to get to Gaza and more, as we see today. Second, that the way the war is handled is according to international law. And third, that we discuss about a perspective for a peaceful relation between Israel and the Palestinian state to be founded and to be built. And this two-state solution, and thinking about what will be the future to get out of the conflict and to have a good relationship between Israel and its Arabic neighbors is, I think, key. And so I'm discussing with many of the leaders all around in Jordania, in Qatar, in the United Arab Emirates, in Saudi Arabia, in Turkey, and so on. And we are also giving a lot of views. We are sharing our views also with the Israeli government. For instance, going against settlers' violence, which I think is a problem. For instance, and being very clear, recommending that there should be not a new frontier in the north, and that all what we are doing should be strategically clear, making it impossible that Iran is taking this advantage for being more influential in the whole region. And this all is the scenario in which we are acting, and all is part of a strategy of the way how we support Israel, but are also clear in the things we are asking and demanding.
What is your message? What is your message to the people of Gaza? Because at the end of the day...
So the message to the people of Gaza is that we are very clear in what I said here. So we are discussing about humanitarian aid. We are discussing about the questions of how this war is going on and how it is done by the Israeli Defense Forces. And we're also giving them the clear view that they can count on us, the European Union, United States, and many others, saying that we are looking for a peaceful future for them, where they can live in a self-ruled state. And that's what we are proposing when we are supporting the idea of a two-state solution.
But Chancellor, you don't honestly think that they are abiding by international laws in their bombardment of Gaza? What evidence do you have that the Israelis are abiding by international law?
We are asking that they do so, and we are constantly discussing this question, and there is good reason for doing so. And it is something which is so important for all of us, that we are very clear in this, that obeying international law and the rules is something which is not just something we do because we subscribed some agreements globally. It is something which is coming out of our perspective of humankind and how we want to be and how we want to see ourselves.
I'd like to open it up for questions. Whoever can get to a mic first, since we don't have much time. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much. Oleksiy Goncharenko, member of the Parliament of Ukraine. Dear Chancellor, the question about NATO. Having Ukraine as a buffer doesn't work. Putin showed it to everybody. So Ukraine should become member of NATO. Will Germany support it on Washington summit? And please don't answer that we will think about it after the war, because in Putin's language it means don't stop the war, don't stop it, destroy Ukraine now. So please, we need this decision as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your question, and I will just say to you what I said to all the Ukrainians so courageous in defending their own country. We are really impressed by the way the Ukrainian soldiers are doing their activities and the way how they defend their own country. I'm sure that Putin did not expect this to happen, and he was so sure that he will be successful to conquer the whole country in 2 or 4 weeks, something like this. And so he failed with his strategy. We should never forget this. In the beginning of my speech, I said, for this reason, the Ukraine was able to get back 2/3 of the conquered territory, and this is a success of Ukraine and of our solidarity, and not a success of Russia that failed with its attempts. In the question of NATO, I think we are very clear. We have the decisions we made in Vilnius. They are a clear statement about the way how we will handle things. And it makes no sense to go more to the details, but just say we put these words down sincerely, which we mean what we said there. So you can count on this, and this is something which I think is the message which is important here.
Unfortunately, Chancellor, thank you so much. We have run out of time. Thank you.